The judge is making his phone up.
I knew you had something to say.
Call the meeting of the Marquette County Board of Commissioners to order. Please note all commissioners present stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the minutes of the following County Board of Commissioners meeting, the regular meeting held on July 2nd, 2019. Your pleasure.
Move the minutes as presented.
Support.
Moved by Commissioner DePietro, supported by Commissioner Nordine. Any questions or comments on the minutes? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No proclamations, presentations, or awards. Approval of the agenda.
Approve the agenda as presented.
Support.
Moved by Commissioner DePietro, supported by Commissioner Alholm. Comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Public comment? Anyone wishing to address the board, please come forward, state your name and address, and you may speak.
First of all, thank you for providing this forum for me to discuss information with you. My name is Lee Johnson, I live in Edina. I'm a minority shareholder in two of the area's nursing homes. I'm here to show my opposition to the upcoming millage for the Marquette County Medical Care Facility. 5 years ago, we passed a millage supporting 0.55 mils for the county facility for its facility operations. That totals about $1.25 million a year. That goes directly to the facility. Over 5 years, that's $6.25 million. This past year, the county facility conducted a $6 million overhaul of its facility for money that it had in the bank. So in essence, the $6.25 million collected from the taxpayers of Marquette County simply went directly into a bank account. Now we're asked to continue the current millage for another 5 years. So in the future, they plan on spending another $6 million on itself, because that's the only place the money can be spent. When does this end? Is this every 5 years the county is going to spend $6 million on itself, on the burden of the taxpayers of this county? It's not right. Last time I looked, our roads are crumbling, bridges are unsafe, we have underfunded programs that are struggling. But we are asked as taxpayers to support a millage that simply goes into a bank account. And that money has to be spent on the whims of those in power who have to spend it on themselves. Is this a prudent way to spend our taxpayers' money? I don't think so. In closing, I would suggest anybody that has any questions, please contact me. There's a whole lot of issues that most people don't know. I'd say 95% of the county doesn't know how the county facility gets reimbursed as compared to others. The taxes they don't pay. The taxes I pay to support my competition. I just think it's a bad message that we have so many needs in our county that we're spending this money unwisely. I think it's irresponsible for the Department of Human Services Board and subsequently the commissioners to ask the county to renew an expense that is not necessary. Thank you.
Thank you. Public comment? Any other public comment?
James Gallant, Marquette County Suicide Prevention Coalition, Scandia. And I would like to have some time to speak on action item 10D, community health worker position, when that comes up. And also, I'd like to say that I have been looking into trying to find the Marquette County Suicide Prevention Plan, which your resolution of 2013 dictated that we were going to work with a work group of some sort. I believe that was the Stephen Pence, Mike Whale work group. We looked into it, and they came back with the proposal, and then you did your resolution, and it says that you're going to create a Marquette County Suicide Prevention Plan. Nobody knows anything about that. Sarah Dermott actually says that she absolutely has no idea what I'm talking about. So it's a suicide prevention plan. It's pretty simple. And so Sarah Dermott doesn't know anything about it. She runs the Suicide Prevention Alliance, which is supposed to be doing this. And so we're not really sure where we're at on that. Scott seemed a little, couldn't find that. There was a report 216, couldn't find it. Don't know if you had any luck finding it. If anybody here has a copy of it, because back at the time, I think Scott said that there was a report on the table in the back room if anyone wanted to look at it, but it wasn't. I don't know if it was really in your inbox. So if it was in your inbox, please forward it back to Scott. And from, what's that, 216? February 216, something like that. That we got this from Jerry Messina, and it was all about suicide prevention. And matter of fact, your colleague Bill Nordine asked, what is the county's involvement in suicide prevention? Did not mention not one word about the county's involvement in suicide prevention. That wasn't that report, so that never really happened, that report. So I was hoping that we could get get us a public hearing, and we could maybe get Stephen Pence to Wendy, thank you, Wendy, for coming on board. And now that Wendy is Stephen Pence's employer instead of the other way around, I think that we should have a public hearing, which of course you folks would have to schedule. We could get Wendy to review Stephen Pence's work on the Suicide Prevention Alliance. There's a written legal opinion about the Open Meetings Act, which I disagree with. I think they're Open Meetings Act because you appointed them. You created this committee. You're on the Open Meetings Act. They make decisions on your behalf. That's where they're open. And his other things that Stephen Pence did, other work that he did, that now Wendy is legally responsible for, and which is the Zero Suicide Initiative also, that grant. I was looking at that. And Sarah Derman was on the media meet last October. And she said that she's providing the tools necessary for these people to do their job. That's not what the Zero Suicide Initiative is about. That's what it's always been about. Give them some tools. If you want to use it or not, that's their issue, that's whatever. None of them do none of it. It's okay. The Zero Suicide Initiative, if you go to their website, the very first sentence says, the Zero Suicide Initiative operationalizes the policies for zero suicide. That means they actually make the policy. This never happens. Like, people go to these trainings, you spend millions and millions of dollars on trainings that are not translated into policy at the agency. So they don't got to follow none of it. These people and all these agencies, they get all these trainings, but there's no corresponding policy that says here as a worker, as an employee, you have to do this. They give them the tools and they can pick and choose what they want. It doesn't work. It's not working. So if we could get back to the suicide prevention plan that was 2013, the resolution by Stephen Pence. Actually, I'd like for you to get that, we had a public hearing, we could get Wendy to actually read some of this stuff out loud, like that resolution. The resolution really doesn't say anywhere on it, it is so resolved. The resolution, that is the definition of a resolution. So it's not really sure that they're trying to say, well, maybe they didn't really intend on actually doing these things. It doesn't say it is so resolved. But Stephen at meeting was your colleague, reviewed that as the legal counsel. So the problem here is the Zero Suicide Initiative, you're supposed to do a comprehensive assessment. The comprehensive assessment, because this is nationwide, for everybody in Michigan, is the Michigan Mental Health Code. As I have been stating to you, that the Glen Teen Clinic that you run does not assess for needs for legal services on their mental health assessment. That's required by law, by the Mental Health Code. It's 11 things. Assess for needs for legal services is one. And a totally underutilized service is the Chief Circuit Judge has a make-up parent time policy.
Time is up. 5 minutes.
So that's required in every county. So this is a completely underutilized service. If everybody knows it's there, all you lawyers probably went to court trying to get make-up parenting time, somebody paying you to get that make-up parenting time. Use that law. Well, time to
Time's up.
administratively allow to these children to
Jim,
get
time's
referred
up.
to. Yes, thank you. And, 10B.
Public comment, any other public comment?
Good evening. Thank you for allowing me to present on the topic of falls prevention at Michigan State University Extension. My name is Carly Wasik, and I'm the Falls Prevention Program Manager.
We'll get there.
Okay, I
We're
wasn't
not there yet.
Okay, I apologize.
No, it's okay.
My first oral
Yeah. Public comment? Any other public comment? Okay, we'll close the public comment. Review of claims and accounts, total expenditures for the period June 28th, 2019 through July 11th, $513,513.10. Biweekly payroll for the period ending June 29th, 2019, $684,181.33. Motion to pay those bills.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Nordine,
Support.
supported by Mr. Adamini. Any questions on the bills? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Check number 192757 dated 7/12/19, $1,703.54 payable to Elder Delta Co-op Electric. Commissioner Alholm abstains as she is a member of their board. Motion to pay that bill.
So moved. Support.
Moved by Commissioner Adamini, supported by Commissioner Nordine. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Help herself.
No public hearings, privileged comment, Carol Lee Wasik, Falls Prevention Program, Instruction Coordinator, MSUE.
Thank you. So, my name's Carly Wasik, I'm the Falls Prevention Program Manager, and I was at the Marquette County Health Department. So today, I wanted to touch on falls. Falls are unfortunately very common. About 1 in 4 older adults will fall this year. They are the #1 cause of hip fractures, and they can be very devastating and deadly. But most importantly, they are preventable, and they are not a natural part of aging. So the Upper Peninsula of Michigan does have one of the highest rates of fall-related injuries in Michigan. And we hope to increase participation in falls prevention programming, which I will get into in just a minute, so we can improve the quality of life in our older adult population, and older adults with disabilities. Older adults are a growing population, and we need to make sure we're addressing their needs. So in response, Michigan State University Extension received a 3-year grant through the Administration of Community Living to increase participation and sustainability for falls prevention programming across the Upper Peninsula. So what that looks like is we offer 2 evidence-based falls prevention programs. One is called A Matter of Balance, and the other one is called Tai Chi for Arthritis and Falls Prevention. Both of these programs are recommended by the CDC, and they're evidence-based. They have the highest tier of evidence-based research to them. So Michigan State University Extensions are offering these programming to residents across the Upper Peninsula, but I wanted to share with you 2 upcoming programming happening in Marquette. We have Tai Chi for Arthritis and Falls Prevention happening at the Marquette Farmers Market starting next week. It's going to be on the Wednesday nights, which is new to our community and is very exciting. The Tai Chi will start at 3:30 to 5:30, and again, that begins next Wednesday. The other program that we have available to the public is called A Matter of Balance, and that's at the Marquette Senior Center beginning July 22nd, which is next Monday, and it will be happening on Mondays and Wednesdays from 1 to 3 p.m. It's open for participants to call and sign up today, and that is a month-long program, so meeting 8 times. And my phone number is 906-315-2664, and they can call me directly to sign up. MSU Extension does have quite a bit of partnerships within this grant, and one of them is UpCap, and they offer these same programs UP-wide as well. So some recent areas of programming is Munising, Marinesco, Negaunee, Baraga, Bessemer, and Ironwood. So really we're trying to reach everybody in the Upper Peninsula. The Upper Peninsula does have a high rate of older adults living alone. The Michigan average is about 10%, and we exceed that threshold across all counties of the Upper Peninsula. So it's important that we are giving programs to our older adults so they can age in place, as well as we will be saving healthcare costs as well. An average cost of a fall is about $30,000. So these programs are free to our community right now through this grant, so I just encourage you to share that with your family, friends, other people that you may find it useful. And I do appreciate your time on the agenda today, and thank you for the support of Michigan State University Extension programs.
So I have a question.
Oh, okay.
So when you do the Tai Chi at the farmer's market, what kind of things are you going to tell people? Oh, sorry. Don't fall down, or?
So falls prevention, there's many different risk factors to falls prevention. So one of them is inactivity. So if people are not active, they're not making sure that they're staying strong and balanced and keeping their endurance up. So part of falls prevention is just being active. So that's combating falls prevention in itself. A matter of balance is more peer group discussions, problem solving, and learning. So we're learning about home environment, our community, and learning about the concern for falling. So the fear of falling in itself is a risk factor. So if someone is afraid of falling, they might not be going out into their community to engage into Tai Chi. So we address that concern in a matter of balance. But really, Tai Chi is about weight shifting and transferring and stepping and building up our muscles and strength.
Okay.
The process.
I mean, it is a problem. We have a lot of icy conditions and an elderly population, and it's very frightening for older people to walk on that ice. So, yeah, it's a problem. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Informational items, there are none. Action items, fetch GIS recommendation. Is Jackie here? Want to comment on it?
Good evening. We're going to do a quick demo of the Fetch GIS, and while Cameron's setting up, this is Cameron Cruz, he's our GIS specialist in our department. What Fetch GIS will do for us is give us and the community better access to the data that's available in our department. Right now, Commissioners Nordine and Adamini have utilized the computer at our counter over the years and looked up information. They would then be able to sit at their office and not have to physically come.
You don't want to see us.
Well, that too. We've been working on that for years. But it also gives the public access. Starting in at the end, I think it's by December of 2020, all local units of government are required to provide all of their assessing information online. And some units of government, Wells, Ewing, and Turn, they don't even keep office hours, much less have internet to their township halls. It would allow any of them to be able to utilize our system to go in and look at maps, records, and get the information on the parcels. It would be set up in a two-layer. You could go in and look at the parcel, get all the information that you want for free up to a certain point. The same thing that they pay us for now, they would also have to pay, and it would be online. Tax records, things similar to the same pricing that BSNA currently uses, but more update because we would be updating on a weekly basis. And what it also would allow is for somebody to print a map, which right now no one can do. They have to come into the office or contact us, and Cameron creates the PDF, emails it to them. But before they can do that, we have to generate an invoice. We have to send them the invoice. They have to pay in the county treasurer's office, and then we have to watch and see that the invoice is paid before we distribute the data. So it's a lot of hands-on staff time to collect $3 for a map, where they can go online, click, pick out their own section that they want, and print it. I don't have to generate an invoice. Cameron doesn't have to do. We don't have to collect. We don't have to mark paid. The treasurer's office doesn't have to. very efficient for improving, staff time to be able to do other things in the department, like assessing. Anything that we can not have to spend time on the phone for, obviously we can do something else. And it's very effective. We've talked to several of the realtors or title people are willing to buy a monthly subscription. So right now, all of the realtors for RE/MAX, for instance, get their information, we have to compile it, keep it, and then bill it by agent so that they're all charged. And this way we would give them a user specific. All of their agents will log in, it would be charged to RE/MAX, and but they wouldn't actually have to pay because they'd be paying a monthly fee. Total cost is $7,500 per year. I've talked to a couple of the townships and have gotten very favorable responses to them about signing up and them helping to spread the cost of those payments. We'd like to obviously see how much revenue we would generate during the first year. Based on what we currently sell, we would expect that it would be close to paying for itself. Would become much more tenable if we're not spending staff time making hard copy maps and emailing them to people and collecting those. So we're trying to put all the information out, as much information out to the general public without losing the revenue stream that we already have. Yes?
Jackie, is that 7,500 a year or 75?
It's $7,500 a year. And
Okay,
that includes
that's software updates and
It includes everything.
I make
Now,
a,
it's also can be tagged in with the road commission, health department. They can use it to plot their wells. They can, send their data. So there's multiple uses for departments within the county to be able to utilize that. The $7,500 is just to get the parcel layer and the core data out there to the public.
I'd make a motion to support the $7,500 GSI purchase.
Wait a second now, yeah, I'm not sure that's clear. I mean, that's what she's she's saying it's a $7,500 a year fee to people to sign up to this, right?
No, that's our,
The cost of the program and their is $7,500 a year for them to host.
Right, not our cost.
supply.
well,
Yes,
that's our
Oh, it
cost
is
to
our cost.
approve this. Okay.
I'll support
But then we
it for
would
discussion
work
anyway.
with
Yeah.
I'm very confused, right?
I guess with there's questions, I think that a number of commissioners have, I guess, Mr. Adamini is a kind of a guru on real estate, so you oughta,
I don't know if I'm a guru, but I mean, I have very much appreciated, the advances that have been made, as Jackie said. There was a time when I'd spend about 3 hours in the vault of the Register of Deeds office every day. And now, well, I'm retired now, so it's much better. It's rare now to have to go to the Register of Deeds office. We can do it all from our office, of course, paying for it. And that's fantastic. And so, the more we can make those services available to people as a convenience, but of course we have to make sure that it's not costing the taxpayer anything, I'm all for it. And it appears that some of these things that you want are included in the $7,500, but as I read this stuff, there's many other applications that might be very much interesting to business people in the community, and they would like them to be developed. It says that they will review this, come up with a pricing plan for any additional. So my first question is, what programs do they offer that we're going to get under the 7,500, and are there any that we know of that are available that we would have to negotiate a separate price for?
The health department and the road commission modules would have to be, dealt with the company. They do many different counties and they offer offer different levels of service in each county, depending on what they want. But the main focus in all of the GIS is the parcel layer. Because if you don't have a parcel layer, you don't have a digital GIS system. So our goal is to get the parcel layer out there for people to look at, just as you would come in and look at hard maps, you'd be able to sit at your desk and search the area at hand and come up with the price for the parcel you want to zoom. Kim, can you just give them a quick overview of just exactly what the average person or professional will be seeing when they go on to Fetch GIS?
Sure.
And it's not hosted here, so we don't have to worry about taking up, space on the servers. It's all hosted in the cloud by the company.
This is all maintained through the BSNA. So the parcel layer that we keep track of in our office is the geographic shape. All of the data is updated however often we decide we want to update that data. So if we want to upload the data every day from BSNA, we can do so, and sales that are happening every day would be live. If we want to do it every week, every month, whatever we decide we want to do. So the data that's on here is set up specifically to each individual user. If we decided we wanted exactly what we've got here, which in this situation is very similar to what we put off called a parcel verification. So it's owner name, address, property address. The values that are as far as SEV and taxable values are on here. This one happens to have sales as well. Let's see if I can scroll down. Some have, this is in Alger County, so some of these you don't show a sale because there isn't one. They show an acreage and a legal description. And this one doesn't happen to see, but if you see at the very bottom where it says sales information, if there was a recent sale, that would be listed here also. This is what Alger and Delta have chosen to have on their site. We would have the ability to customize that. So if we said we don't want sales because those individuals are going to go to the Registry of Deeds and there's a fee for that, then we could cut that off. If we wanted to bring on extra information, pretty much everything that is available in BSA assessing could be made as part of this screen. And then, so you can zoom in, and there's a couple different ways to do it, but you can look at the shape, you can see aerial imagery that's not available anywhere else except for here. It's flown recent and leaf-off imagery. And then if you wanted to print a report, then if you hit print, then there's a PDF that can be saved or printed. These are georeferenced PDFs, so if you're using a mobile device, this is all available in the field. If you're using a smartphone or anything, you want to find where some of these things are. And this, let me see if I can do this without going backwards here. This report that it puts off here, and like I said, this is specific to what they wanted. We could customize this how we choose, but it's the map, it shows the photo, what we're looking at, and then it's some of the data that comes out of BSNA as well that you see down here. Sales, previous SEV, previous values, those kinds of things. That's what they've chosen to be important for their users, but we really have the ability to customize it.
For big users, you would charge them a monthly fee, you said?
And then we don't have to bill them. If they want to use it 100 times, they use it 100 times. If they want to use it twice. We would bill them, but we would bill them once a year on a monthly basis instead of having to bill them as requested.
So how much?
We have 30 realtors all requesting information. We don't have to keep track. RE/MAX would have its own account. They would book into that, and then they would get their information for free because they're already paying the subscription.
How much of the 7,500 do you think we can generate with those kind of things?
I looked, and I thought that the last time I looked at our map revenues that we were at about $3,700, I think, on our budgets when I looked. That didn't include the last month or so. So just selling maps, we'd make about $3,700.
So in other words, we pay $7,500 for the system, and then you're going to charge people to use it, right? And now what about the average, you're talking about RE/MAX, but what about the average users? Am I going to be able to log in there as a person, as a citizen, and look at this, or do I have to have an account? I can't.
You would log in, then you would be able to look at everything for free.
Okay.
And then if you wanted to print something or go into the deeper assessing, then there would be a charge. If you wanted a copy of your record card, you would have to pay for that record card, just as you do now when you call our office.
And you'd pay online, so it'd be online through this company?
And then quarterly, they send us a check. We don't have to invoice, we don't have to collect. The treasurer's office doesn't have to handle it. They send a printout showing how many maps have been sold and a check along with it quarterly. And along with this, we put in the request, believe you have, for the release and the trade-off in, with the state of Michigan. Releasing our parcel layer, that was the second part of the packet, so that the state of Michigan, we would do a trade and allow them to use our parcel layer for internal purposes, and they would in exchange provide us with the latest copy of the aerial imagery, all leave off, and every time they fly a new flight, we would get the latest images. I think our flight is what, 6 or 7 years old right now at least.
Yeah.
So
It's leaf-on imagery, so what we currently use, any place there's hardwoods, you can't see the dirt road underneath it, you can't see a building, you can't see what's going on because it's shot in.
If the board approves it, how fast could it be up and running?
September.
September?
Yeah, the leaf-off imagery for us is very important, especially now that, we've expanded the assessing functions. It's because we can look down and see buildings and then go out. People tend to build things in the woods without permits. Okay, sure. Sometimes they're not in the woods, sometimes they're in the city of Marquette. But the more that we can find, the easier it is for our field staff then to also use that leaf-off imagery to follow the trails of the buildings.
How would these be available to local units of government? Obviously, they can go and look at it free, but,
They would be able to tag it.
okay. And do you anticipate some of them wanting to become paid-in users and pay you a fee to have
If they're a
access to them?
participant, then they would have a free login screen. If they don't want to participate, then they would go in on a per visit. And if they want maps, then they would have to pay for them. But if they're part of, the base core, then they would get everything that they wanted for free. And they would meet the requirements of the state to have all of their assessing and tax information online by the end of 2020. And we figured we have about 51,000 parcels, and depending on the breakdown, it wouldn't take an awful lot of money to be able to recoup that $7,500. It would be pretty minimal charge to local units. And we have touched base with the city of Marquette. We don't have any firm commitments, but we've had discussions with their IT staff on whether they would be willing to come on board. So we think we can make it very negligible. We would lose the revenues that we currently have, but I believe it would actually expand. We get calls weekly, isn't your data available online? No, it's not.
How are we gonna charge, Jackie, for the different municipals? So if you got a Forsyth Township or a Ewing Township, for instance,
Per
right?
parcel.
So the larger they are, they're gonna have a different, you're gonna have some kind of rate schedule?
Yeah, we would try to, spread it evenly. So, Ewing wouldn't be paying, $500 and Forsyth paying $500 because Ewing would sit inside of 1/4 of Forsyth and has, a tenth of the number of parcels. So we would try to spread it out fairly among local units.
Other questions?
Yeah, I have one, and I don't know if you have the answer, Jackie, or maybe Sue does. Like my former office, we pay a monthly fee to be able to access the Register of Deeds. And I think that gives us 800, or it used to give us 800 minutes a month, or something, and I know we never exceeded the number of minutes, but, does that sound right?
Yeah, I'm not sure of all the particulars, but that the Register of Deeds records would be separate from this.
They would be.
Yeah.
Now, there could be we would have that discussion with the Register of Deeds if she wants to have a deed reference there. They can look in our office on our computer and see if there's a deed reference. So it's not that they're hidden, but she does charge a track index fee. So that would be a discussion to be held whether we display that
But
sales information or not.
Most maps, of course, it wouldn't be all this other side information, but we got mapping programs now. We can go on a computer and zero in, put in a description, and come up with a, detailed map. There's other programs
And they don't have assessing information.
Well, no,
Information.
and I'll admit,
Yes, they're out there.
they don't have the assessing information.
They're out
on that,
there,
but,
yeah.
that's available. The one thing that's not available at the register of deeds is, you know, every survey that's done by a registered surveyor is supposed to be recorded in the office of the register of deeds. Now, some of the surveyors are very good about that, and they record every one of their surveys. Some of them don't record any of them, because they believe that's proprietary information of theirs that they've created, and they don't make it public. But if that was enforced, it would be a great benefit to real estate attorneys, title insurance companies, banks that are lending, et cetera, if they could obtain copies of the recorded surveys. That's, you know, we can get copies of deeds, mortgages, discharges, liens, but we can't get the surveys.
And we don't have.
Now that I'm retired, it doesn't make any difference to me, but I know there's a lot of people out there in the real estate community who would love to have that capability. So are there any counties other than Delta and Elcher that you know of are utilizing this that we could talk to?
Well, they're using it, but they don't have a GIS system. So they're not, you know, neither Alger, Delta, or Menominee that's in there actually have a GIS program. So they can't tie their data into anything because they don't have it, you know, where their assessing can link electronically to a map. So actually what you're seeing when you're looking and maybe looking at, was it Oxhunt or a program like that, you're actually seeing they've purchased our data. And it's supposed to be for, you know, they can't resell the data. We sell copies of the county's, you know, GIS program regularly, or different portions of it, but they're maintained separately and they can't resell like hard copy. They can use it to put out there with the agreement, but they can't resell it.
You get a lot out of Google Maps. This outfit is out of Mount Pleasant, right?
Correct.
And so are there any other counties in Michigan that is now using what they're trying to sell us?
Many.
Okay, so
Was it
could we
Oswego
get some
that had all
names
of their information?
that we?
There's probably two dozen counties or so. Their list was changing, I don't remember exactly how many are on there, but there's a big long list of different counties that have used it.
No, you gotta
To different
understand.
levels. You know, some counties have their sewer lines on it.
Yeah.
They have their electrical lines. They have everything plotted out into their system.
I'm not opposed to this program at all. In fact, I think it would be fantastic. But I would be interested in talking to some of the other counties who already signed up for this as to what else it could be beyond what you're telling us. But I think this could be an enormously beneficial thing for a lot more. I mean, it may well be worth it just for what it does for the equalization department.
They came and they did a demonstration to Central Dispatch, who was there? We were there, Central Dispatch, the Health Department, who else was there? There was one other group, you know, showing how, you know, like search and rescue can tie in. Looking at the buildings, getting the information, finding, you know, different data tying from the assessing features. But they had, Bay City in Bay County had basically their sewer lines, they had everything. They had gone back 40 years and started putting all of their utility lines in. Road Commission in a couple of the counties had all their road center lines. You know, they did a fairly good demonstration of it, and the Health Department and Central Dispatch were both pretty happy with it because they can pinpoint the locations of their wellheads instead of guessing.
Well,
And
for
they could sit at their desk and bring it up.
7,500 a year, if we don't like it or your department doesn't like it in a year, we can get rid of it, right?
no long-term commitment, as long as you keep renewing, we paid them $7,500. And if we find out that we're losing money, then we would relook at.
You shouldn't lose
The
money.
initiative.
This is a good system. I think you should be able to make money.
So we have
At
a
least break
motion
even.
and a support to support, Fetch GIS recommendation for 7,500 for the year. Further comments?
I just want to thank Jackie. I think it's a win-win situation with this program, and that it will help anybody that needs help.
Ken has to, he's done a lot of the footwork.
Yeah, I know, but you're the brainchild of this, so thank you very
I don't know
much.
about that, but we do
Thank you,
still
Mr.
have,
Chair.
in order to utilize this, we do have to have the agreement to release the GIS. And that should have been in with your packet.
It was, that's why I was confused, because that was in the
okay.
front of it, I think, right?
Yeah, because we can't really do it without releasing the parcel, and we never do without.
I would
For
ask
free.
if I could be furnished with the names of other counties that utilize this, because I'd be interested in looking as to what else they can do for us besides what they would be doing.
And that's
for you.
available, if you go on their main website, it'll show you the counties that are on their system.
And then I'd like to talk to the other people who were at the demonstration that they gave to you and the other groups.
Does that motion?
Central Dispatch and so on.
Does that motion include entering into that agreement with DTMD?
Yes. Any
And
other
then the state won't
comments?
come and ask you for any waivers of the parcel layer anymore.
Any other comments? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Commercial demolition fee schedule, Paul.
Good afternoon. I'm making the assumption everybody has a memo in front of them. It's pretty self-explanatory. Currently, the county doesn't have a fee structure for commercial building demolition. We have a generic one that covers everything from residential to commercial. That $95 application fee is all that fee is. There's nothing else added to it, and that really just covers the administration portion of it. So what we're trying to do is, in the light of things coming possibly, such as the demolition of the power plants and the demolition of possibly the hospital, maybe, I don't know if that's ever gonna happen, try to be prepared for that, and the extra manpower and time associated with doing these demolitions. So what we're looking to do is just to try to cover our costs on these things. So we're proposing to do an administrative fee, application fee of $95, and then a 1 cent per square foot, additional fee for commercial structures only.
So the state rate was $100 to review the site plan and 7 cents per square foot. And we're proposing $95.01, so it's considerably less than what the state is charging. So
I'll move approval.
Support. Oh, go ahead.
moved by Commissioner Nordine, supported by Commissioner Drosha. Further comments?
I have a question. How did you derive the .01 per square foot, given that the state is charging .07?
Well, I just wanted to cover my associated fee, or what I assume to be my associated fee. On a larger structure, such as a hospital, say it's 100,000 square feet, it's gonna probably be $1,000 permit. That's gonna cover probably at least 4 or 5 more inspections on that project. There isn't an exact science to it, because each project is gonna be different. Some are gonna require more plan review, some are gonna be requiring additional conversations with the utility companies, making sure things are disconnected. It all takes time. So I can't really say this inspection's gonna cost this much money. We're just trying to get generic, overall, this is what we think it's gonna be. I don't think we're gonna see a ton of these projects come up. I think maybe 3 or 4, but we should be prepared for all of them that do come.
One quick question. Paul, yeah.
Go ahead.
Will this cover industrial as well? Is commercial industrial gonna be?
They would be under the same thing.
Okay, thank you.
It would cover anything that's not residential. If it's a residential structure, it'll stay under the $95 application fee. Once it turns into commercial, whether it's a commercial residential apartment complex, whether it's a commercial retail store, industrial building, auditorium, those would fall under the new commercial with the 1 cent per square foot addition.
I have a question, I've been in Nagani lately, well, primarily because they have Pioneer Week last week, but, I look at that Kirkwood, store building on Iron Street, that looks like a disaster waiting to happen now. Does that fall under your jurisdiction?
Currently, the Nagani has their own, program where they're doing rental programs and enforcing the public, property maintenance code, so we're letting them steer the ship on that.
And do you know what they charge? Because I tell you, a lot more than $95 that's gonna be needed to supervise the demolition of that.
I'm sure it is, yes.
Just a final comment, I think this is a very good idea that you're getting out in front of the big demolitions that's coming within the next 5 years. And you're getting your floor mat out there, and everybody is going to know what's going on to the fees and the charges and that stuff. I'm glad to see that you are getting this out there.
A motion and a support, any further discussion?
I just have one question, is Nagani the only other municipality in the county that?
No, currently, Marquette has their own rental program. They do rely on us in some of the stuff, but, if they have their own program, we expect them to take the lead on it. And we would act as in a supporting level at that point.
Did you say rental for
So theirs is a rental, program, but they also, have adopted, they have also adopted the property maintenance code as well.
Okay, but just for rental properties?
They have two divisions. I think, the fire department controls the rental and the rental program. And I think the zoning does the blight and so forth, and that would fall under the blight program.
But you handle everything then other than Marquette and Nagani?
Well, and, Ishpeming City more.
So in terms of the power plant or the hospital, you wouldn't be involved in that, that would be the city of Marquette?
We would still require a demolition permit for it. Just like if they're doing a building in the city of Marquette, we still have a demolition permit for that.
Okay. And then what is your role in the demolition, other than the issuance of the permit?
We would issue the permit, we would do the inspections to make sure that the utilities are disconnected. We would make sure that the safeguards are put in place during the tear down, make sure public ways are safe, and then finally drains are all finished up, wellheads capped off, whatever it may be, to bring that site back to a natural, level field.
Okay, well, this gets to my question on the Kirkwood building then. That's gonna come down, they gotta get a permit from you?
Yes.
And then you're gonna be supervising to make sure all those safety procedures are followed?
That is correct.
Very good.
Have a motion and a support, any further comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Next, electrical fee schedule modification due to the recent electrical code cycle update. Some changes have been made regarding Part 8 of the electric law. One specific change is the omission of a key exemption for telecommunication and information system wiring. Removal of the exemption now requires that permits be obtained for work of this type. In addition to Part 8 changes, line items have been added to permit application with associate fees for energy management systems not previously inspected, as well as administrative fee line item approved by the board in October of 2017. Proposed electrical permit application with the associated fees highlighted and attached for board review and approval. The fee amount coincides with the current rates for the state of Michigan. Any further comments you have?
No, I think that pretty much sums it up. These are recent changes that come through Part 8 of the electrical code. Currently, we do not have a fee structure for these items. And the industry has decided, or opinion that the are items that could be a safety issue now that they are able to run power across, Cat 5 wiring and so forth. So as these homes and these commercial buildings start getting smarter and smarter all the time, we wanna make sure that these safeguards are put in place when they install these new lines and so forth. I mimicked the state's, fee schedule on that. I don't know what it's gonna take or how many it's gonna take. It looked like a fair amount. I know that, we were asked to do this on the hospital and didn't have the structure in place. We did the inspections, we issued the permits, we just didn't get any associated fees with that. Just because it was an important part of that inspection that had to be addressed. We're just trying now to make sure we cover our costs once again for those additional inspections and permits.
Motion to consider the recommendation, moved by Commissioner Alholm. Have a support? Supported by Commissioner.
I got a question though. So, Paul, if I as a homeowner wanted to run a Cat 5 cable, so I want to run something for a computer or something from my basement up to my first floor, would I be required technically to get a permit for that?
Technically, yes, but we don't typically get into existing buildings unless they come and tell us they're doing that work. We're gonna see most of this coming through on new construction. And to be honest with you, most of it's gonna be in the commercial side of things. Doesn't mean someone's not gonna build a house that's very, tech elevated, I guess you could say. If they wanna control their thermostat with their phone outside, then those are the things that people are gonna start doing. The industry is gonna probably lend itself to going that direction. But I don't see that happening right away. I think it's gonna be more of a commercial feel, and it's gonna be a new residential feel.
Yeah, I was surprised that the National Electric Code did that. I really always thought of Cat 5 cables or communication cables as not being in the same realm as electric, you know?
And they used to be, and that was accurate, but now with the technology advancements and then able to run power through those lines, they wanna make sure that they're doing it correctly and installing them correctly.
Thanks.
Have a motion and a support. Any further comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Next, trial court funding commission interim report, resolution, recommendation. I'll call it. Oh, I'm sorry. The community health worker position.
Chairman, I see that Mr. Masson is not here today, so if I can do my best for the board. I don't have the same background that he does, but in essence, as his memo notes here, is that community health workers, what they're looking to add to their board, as it notes here, a person that serves as an advocate for individuals, assisting them with assessing resources such as transportation and helping to navigate complex systems such as healthcare. And as noted here by Mr. Masana, the approximately 50% of patients seen at the health department, schools, clinics, 98% of the maternal infant health program clients served by UP, by health department, are Upper Peninsula Health Plan clients. So as a result of this, the UPHP is trying to partner with the health department and fund a full position. So what they're coming here for is, we're already working through the contract portion of it, but making sure that the board's aware of that they're adding this and getting a blessing for that today. It's a good thing. So.
They're paying it in full, right?
That is correct.
Public comment was, for this item?
Go ahead.
Thank you. James Young, Marquette County Suicide Prevention Coalition. And as Scott was saying so eloquently, that UPHP is offered to pay in its entirety. We got to make sure that now they want this health educator to be a public employee, so then if they slip and fall, we're paying comp for the rest of their days and stuff like that. Is that included? And any auxiliary cost with all this. And the thing that I'm concerned about is that I ask you to please ensure that the job description for this health worker includes a directive under these segments. You've got a navigation function, where they will navigate them through these processes, the healthcare system, to require the referral to all known services that are available and that they qualify for, instead of only the services that are provided by the person who's paying the bill. this is what's happening with a lot of these agencies, like even Pat is. They don't refer you to somebody, but they don't provide a service. They just say that's a fail. That's like, that goes on the list as you didn't provide services. And as I was saying before, that this is where the children in your clinic, because this is about the children in the clinic, this is Medicaid, they qualify for services that the chief circuit judge has make-up parenting time policy. Mental health code requires assessment for needs for legal services and referral to appropriate services when indicated on an assessment, which we have found is not on the assessment. And your colleague Bill Nordine witnessed the Bill Tucker, I believe his name was, and Andrea, the director, out at the Gwynn Teen Clinic, saying they do not assess, but only for who has the right to consent for services. It's the only legal rights they're interested in, not the ones of the child, the actual person you're seeing there for the reasons in the mental health services. And they let that conflict and dysfunction continue in order to what? Get another appointment so they can, you know, I don't know, make a little more money, make more appointments, and they allow it to continue. It doesn't make sense. And so that's why I would ask you to at least ensure that on their job description that, I mean, what are they going to be? They're going to be all the services in the community, right? They're going to be, it's just be comprehensive. Is what they call that, not just to the person who's actually making money on it. And
Thank you.
make sure that happens at this end before you hire them. Thank you.
Have a motion and a support?
Motion to approve.
Do we already have one? No? Oh, support.
Any other comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Linda, next on the agenda here, trial court funding commission.
In front of you, Commissioners, I have tonight a request, and I have some information from Barb Byram as well from Hingham County explaining it, that's attached. They're asking all of us county clerks, since we're not at the table for this negotiations that are occurring right now on this interim report, to have some, we'd kind of like to have some information and be able to be at the table. So they're asking all of us county clerks to ask our boards for support in that and oppose what they have going right now. So if you have any further questions, I'm happy to.
Just entertain a motion for support.
So moved.
Support.
Moved by Commissioner Adamini, supported by Commissioner Alholm. Seems like a reasonable request. It's stuff that they're doing right now, and it always works better with the locals in charge, in my opinion. Any other comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Next, public comment.
Suicide Prevention Coalition. A couple things now, I guess, that we came across at this meeting. First of all, maybe you should start enforcing that thing about recording surveys. It was interesting that your colleague, Commissioner Adamini, knew that right off the top of his head. But you know what, some of us just don't do that, and it's required by law. Or we're not doing this. This is a lot of what the change in the community is. It doesn't really need to change, it just needs to change back to doing it the way it's supposed to be done. A lot of these things, people think needs to change. They don't really need to change. It needs the person in that office actually doing the way the law says. That's one of them. And that'd be nice. I wish I had the survey too that butts up against my property, so then I can get that survey and I know where that is. That'd be awesome. And as you know, we have only been talking to you this about 10 years. You know, your colleague Gerald Corkin could have it. There would be a suicide prevention plan in Marquette County if your colleague Gerald Corkin wanted it. That's the only reason why we don't have it. With Gerald Corkin, your colleague. If you wanted it, you'd have it. You don't do it. So please try to convince him to do that, because it is in the resolution. You did kind of resolve to create a plan with this work group there. But now about the assessments though, in the legal part of it, Wendy, I can't really read your name, but this kind of goes out to your legal counsel now. I've talked to Stephen many times about this. He wasn't concerned. But I would ask you to please consider approving a resolution tonight to stop all mental health assessments within your jurisdiction. The health department, the teen clinic, Ishmael Teen Clinic. Stop them all. You can do it tomorrow. Start it tomorrow morning. They're scheduled for tomorrow morning. until the assessments are approved as the content form by our legal counsel. To say, do these assessments comply with state law? Under the individual plan of service part, MCL, not sure the number, under individual plan of service, which is the mental health code, it says an assessment shall be based on including the following 11 things: recreation, housing, food, needs for legal services. This has absolutely been avoided by the county of Stephen Pence. And also review the Open Meetings Act. Stephen Pence, your employee now, because you as an attorney are now responsible for those mental health assessments they're going to have to come. And if any of those people go on to actually kill themselves, because their custodial parent has not been providing them with a court order. That's just a court order standard of care. I mean, it's supposed to be there. And now we've got Johnny DiPietro, he's carrying flag in parade. He talks about his brothers in arms, military, 20 a day, doing suicide. A lot of that is caused by alienation from their children and their grandchildren, their families, which by court order they're supposed to be a part of. They get a part of that. This is the country that they fought for. Some of them died for, lost limbs for. It's you folks sitting up here not complying with the minimum standard of state law. Why? So these people can continue the conflict and dysfunction, and you can continue the economic development. And I assure you, this is going forward. Especially when, I'm saying Wendy right now is responsible for tomorrow. Well, she's kind of responsible from January 1st. I don't know why that ever occurred to anybody not to look into that. But all of you, it seems like we have a team of lawyers here. They're all working together to make sure that the children and the people that get your mental health assessments in your clinics, in your jurisdiction that you run, will not be referred for the administrative relief, and they're going to have to go hire a lawyer. Most of them aren't going to be able to. They're not gonna. Some of them are going to go off and just kill themselves because they don't have the resources, they don't have it available to them. So milking them out of thinking they got to go hire an attorney ain't going to happen. But it now seems that there are several together right now that are working together, so these children do not get. And every county in the state has a make-up parenting policy required by law. We have one. You got it right there. It says you get to equal to it. And if you, the person, I did it, I documented 500 violations of that court order. Nobody did nothing. They said, go hire a lawyer. That's what they said. Well,
30 seconds left, Jim.
and this can't happen. This is what is driving the suicide risk in our community. Because where there is no risk for suicide, there will be no suicide. So you need to address it. When it comes into your office, you're sitting right in front of you. And Bill Tucker did say that the health officer approved the assessment for the Good Tea Clinic. He's not a mental health professional. I don't know where he got that from. But somebody's telling people to avoid this issue. And please, before we end up having to bury many more people.
Public comment? Any other public comment? Any other public comment? Yes, just asking the board, I guess, if further availability a week from today, Tuesday, for a special meeting to possibly do the FBO.
Chairman, Wendy may be able to be here on Monday, so.
Night.
Monday night?
If my flight arrives as scheduled, I arrive in the afternoon.
What are we looking for?
For a special meeting next week.
For what?
For FBO decision.
Oh, for the FBO decision?
Yeah.
What day? Next Tuesday you're saying, or Monday, or what are you talking about?
I guess
There are different things going on here.
I'm gonna be gone on Tuesday, I think.
At what time?
6.
Either one's fine.
Huh?
Yeah, I'm good on it. I'm good on both of them. Yeah, I'm good on Monday or Tuesday at 6.
Say Monday or Tuesday.
So you,
Can you do
Monday
Monday?
work better for
Monday
you?
would be, yes, best.
So we'll schedule it for Monday at
You're gonna send out notice though, right?
Yes. 6 p.m. you're gonna?
6, Monday at 6.
What time is your plane supposed to land?
I think it's like 2:30, so that should be plenty of time.
Okay. Next. Commissioner comments, anybody?
I'd like to wish Commissioner DeRocha happy birthday.
Oh, yeah.
Happy birthday.
Are you done?
I'm done, that's all I What are you, expect something bigger than
No,
that?
no, my turn, yeah. I guess we're on the tail end of this, but, we have an issue, with storage in the sheriff's office with the 131, and, curious as to what my colleagues think about allowing Scott to take the lead and find a storage solution on current county land and come back to the board with some cost of
131 and how much room are we talking about?
the rescue,
Special
special
ops.
ops, rescue, search and rescue. The current facility is no longer going to be available. They have till September. So as opposed to doing leasing space outside and moving, they're centrally located in Marquette County right now. So if we move them to, whether it's K.I. Sawyer or Ishpeming, or I guess I'd like him to look at what cost-effective way we could do something on our own land and see if we can't. Currently, it's what, 23,000 a year? It was 23 a year just to lease the building to store the 131, and so I think there's a more cost-effective way, and I'd like him to have the authority to look into that.
Is that a motion?
In a motion, yes.
And I'd support that motion.
Good.
I agree that we should try to find county property, because I feel like we rent things out. That kind of irked me when we rented out the public defender, to tell you the truth, because I feel like we lease things out and we own a lot of things, but the problem you're going to run into with Central, or with 131, is that there's a lot of room at Sawyer, I think you could find, but not only is 131 centrally located right now at the old, by the state police post, but most of the people that work for 131 are all from Nagani. So they're not going to like that you're going to send them to Sawyer. I would like it. I would rather if you send them to Sawyer, because I think Sawyer would be great.
Right. Well, Commissioner, there's actually a solution been brought. Scott had been thinking through this. Because of the large amount of equipment, whether it's snowmobiles, boats, all of the things those are seasonal items. And in December and January, the boats can be put away at K.I. Sawyer in our current facility, so we don't need to have a massive structure to have them all in one. And we currently have property in Nagani Township at the same location, but we just couldn't build a monster of a. So I think Scott had a really good idea of trying to utilize, the seasonal piece and saving money. So
I guess we can look at something that's reasonable for Marquette County, in even working with other businesses. Like right now, we get help from the hospital, right?
That's correct. It's what used to be Bell Hospital. We're using some space there right now. They're allowing us to use an unused ambulance bay, which is helpful.
So, look at all the options, because, we don't want to spend a fortune for a building that isn't necessary, because there's possibilities on that end of the county without building new. I'll vote on the motion.
We don't vote yet, no?
We have a motion and support to look into it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any other commissioner comments?
Congratulations, Marquette American Legion Post 44 baseball players, head coach Derek Swashin, assistant coach Jeff Reynolds, and coach Randy Latari on the team winning Women's League this past week. Also, I'd like to congratulate Mining Journal publisher Jim Reeves on his retirement after 39 years of making sure the public was well informed of everything occurring in our 15 counties and beyond. Also, thank you, Jim Reeves, on being involved with many community functions and the main supporter of the UP 200 that starts each race every February in front of the Mining Journal's office. It's been my pleasure to have known Jim for the past 4 years as a publisher and friend. Also, I'd like to congratulate Michigan's UP 109th State Representative Sarah Convenci on getting her first House bill passed 4227 in Lansing with a vote of 107 yeas to 1 nay. Governor Whitmer, after signing this bill, creating a committee on Michigan's mining future. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
By the way, Mr. Reeves, we're going to invite him in at a future meeting and have a proclamation to honor him for his service to local government in Marquette County, so just so the board knows that. Meeting's adjourned.